Hi, friends. Welcome to the Anime Book Club podcast. I'm your host, DJ Montague.
And I'm your host, Greg. And here we review anime from classics to brand new stuff, hidden gems, and controversial favorites.
You'll hear all of our hot takes, rants,
and genius observations. So thanks for tuning in, and buckle up because the episode starts now.
By the way, friends, these episodes contain spoilers, so be careful and don't ruin this anime for yourself. You've been warned. Greg, did you do the intro last time?
I think so.
Well, allow me.
Because I introed as Greg Large Magiavander.
Excellent.
I think it's your turn.
Okay. Welcome everybody to the Anime Book Club. I'm DJ Montague. That's Greg.
My name is Greg.
Okay, we got there. Anyways, today we're talking about many different animes that we've all watched over the last week and discussing the finer points of all the enjoyment that we have over these wonderful, wonderful shows that we've had the pleasure of seeing. We're talking about Wistoria, episodes 7 and 8. We're talking about Failure Frame, episodes 7 and 8 as well. And Greg's going to talk a little bit about ReZero. We'll see how the day goes.
And don't forget about the seduction of the 2.5 dimensional variety.
By the way, Greg says it's possibly the anime of the year.
No, I didn't say year. I said of summer 2024 season.
Anyways, 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. Also, my dear friend Nokotan might get mentioned here and there. But, friends, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining us. Greg, let's begin with, how are you feeling about this couple weeks of anime that we've had the chance to watch?
Failure Frame is doing what it does best, which is
failure.
It's failing frame by frame.
Yeah.
Failure frame by frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but one of the major things they didn't do these last two episodes, I think Japan complained enough about it, and I'm really stoked about it, was these standing 3D animations of them talking to each other.
They still had CG.
They did, but it wasn't that specific thing.
No, and I think they only have CG of Memori and Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has been rendered. Eve Speed, what a name, hasn't been rendered in CG.
Yep.
The little elf chick hasn't been rendered in CG. So it's not that they stopped doing it. I just don't think that they really had a good opportunity to recycle their CG assets there.
Yeah. How are you thinking about Wistoria?
Wistoria also, I think.
Nah.
I mean, it still has a case of the Ragnar Crimsons.
I thought that the fight scene was a little bit better than that. Nah, dude, you remember that fight scene? Okay, it's not that bad. We've got it's not that bad.
But then if you take the scene where Will and Rosti are showering together, I felt like...
Greg, spoilers! We'll get to that in a little bit. But anyways, well, my opinion is Failure Frame, again, yes, continuing to be weird. I've also read the manga. I think we've talked about that several times before. I have to know what happens because it makes me so angry. But I know that there's a bunch of scenes in the anime that don't exist in the manga and actually create background story for Failure Frame. I can't always shit on it wholeheartedly. I have to be real. There are some scenes that give context to what's going on. And I appreciate that a little bit more than the literal dog shit that I read in the manga. So, good news. And then Wistoria, I haven't read the manga for that because I've been so fucking absorbed reading Jujutsu Kaisen and Deadlock. No joke, over the last week. And I'm not going to say this too loud because it's almost embarrassing. I've played 105 hours of Deadlock in a week.
That's only 15 hours a day. That seems okay. Normal, healthy gaming time, I think.
Did you do the math?
Well, I mean, you said 105 hours in a week. There's 7 days in a week, so you just divide by...
Greg, I can't do 7 divided by 105.
Well, we got a cool thing called a computer.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. Anyways, beyond that, so... I appreciate Failure Frame trying a little bit, like the animators are trying, and then they fucking shit the bed, like right afterward. They're like, let's make soup, and then
we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I got something to say about the soup
for sure. I don't mind Wistoria. I think that the animation between the episode 7 fight was pretty good. And then the ending of episode 8 being a little bit more darker in tone as that dude gets his shit wrecked. That was good. Also, how are you feeling about ReZero? And also, how are you feeling about 2.5D D's nuts?
So the reason why I started watching ReZero
Mm-hmm.
was because next season they have a fall 2024. They're going to have season 3 come out for it. And I have just been seeing those characters like all over the place. I have figurines of those characters and I have no idea like who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go ahead and start watching, and I don't mind it.
Okay. How far in are you?
So I'm only on season 1, and they're 25 episode seasons. So I'm halfway through season 1 right now.
Okay.
I'm on episode like 12 or 13 of season 1.
Cool.
And like, I think it's good, but it's also not like super drawing me in.
Yeah, it's just something to watch.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have that internal feeling that after I finish an episode,
like you're really excited,
I want to watch another one.
Yeah.
Like I got to know what happens. Like the concept is really interesting, and I guess we can just start here. So I was watching it, and it reminds me of Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is that Tom Cruise and Amelia Blunt movie where it's basically Starship Troopers and they have to fight these bugs or whatever. But then Tom Cruise gets like killed by this bug, but then if he dies, he basically restarts his day again. That's what this anime is all about.
Okay.
Basically, the main character, he gets isekai'd, immediately is just all in. He's like, dude, I got isekai'd, let's go.
Yeah.
I know how this works. I probably got some superpowers.
Yeah.
I got some stats.
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong.
Yeah.
And he just leans into it completely.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of bugs me a little bit. Similar to like Failure Frame.
Yeah, they're just like, fuck yeah, dude. Let's kill each other.
Yeah, this isn't weird at all. It's just
Lord of the Flies immediately.
But yeah, so it's basically Edge of Tomorrow where he like lives his life and then he dies and then he realizes the world restarted. So then he kind of has the first few times where he dies the first time and he's like, why doesn't anyone remember me? He dies again and he's putting 2 and 2 together. And then now he's basically trying to, I guess, move the story along more or less without dying. Because obviously when he dies, everything resets.
Mm-hmm.
But there's points in the series so far, I mean, up to episode 12 or 13 where I'm at, that his save point moves. So he had his initial save point when he first got isekai'd.
Okay.
And then he did a bunch of stuff in the story, and now he has like a new save point. So when he dies, he's not starting all the way back at the beginning like Tom Cruise. He's up to a certain point of where he like achieved some sort of event or something that was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the premise of ReZero.
Okay.
And I do like it, though. It actually kind of shows in some pretty good detail, like mentally, how that could take a toll on you.
Okay.
Where like, you know, just imagine like living a week of your life and then you die and then no one remembers you or anything that you did for that entire week. And then you basically have to do it again or do something completely new and just, I don't want to say forget about all those other experiences, but know that they didn't have an impact on the people that you interacted with. But, you know, you as a person is, even though you die, you still like learned whatever you learned up until the point of your death. And then you basically get to take it back and use that knowledge to like give it another shot. Yeah. So interesting concept. I do want to say Edge of Tomorrow came out in 2014 and ReZero came out in 2016.
Ooh.
I don't know if it was some sort of, you know, they saw the premise, they thought it was cool and kind of
expanded on it
like an anime. I did want to look that up and give it a little context.
I always think about that, like how much of our media bleeds over into other mediums. Anime inspired what like Avatar became.
The Last Airbender or the
Avatar The Last Airbender was inspired by a lot of different anime as we were growing up. And so how often our mediums bleed over into other different things. Like I always wonder that. But isn't Paprika the DiCaprio movie? Inception? Yes, kind of. It's got a lot of inspiration. So there's a lot of that going on. Very, very interesting. I'm glad you're enjoying ReZero to a certain extent. because we're reaching the end of the anime season of this season, in which we've chosen to watch Failure Frame and Wistoria. Next season, we will have other animes lined up as well. As of right now, Failure Frame is, let's say, not great. But importantly, Failure Frame is in the midst of the beginning of the Eve Speed arc, I guess, or the Ashint arc. I don't understand arcs in this show because they don't fucking matter. Like, the fucking Civet Garland.
He just died.
He just fucking showed up in one episode. Next episode, he was fucking dead.
He got the paralyzed poison pound town combo right to the face.
Yeah.
And then he died. And then he's just dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's kind of similar to the 4 dudes he killed in the beginning.
Yeah.
The Sword God, the Outlandish Demon, Super Pressure, and the Fang. Like, I think they were called like the Holy Divers or something.
Yeah. You ever think, like, in this world, these dudes are obviously doing, like, grandiose shit, but they come up with their own names, and then they just, like, all die one day. And everyone's like, well, oh, well, you know, and, like...
The whole point of giving yourself a nickname is so it sounds cool, so people remember you.
Right.
But then you can't just give yourself a nickname that is so dumb that everyone's just going to forget it anyway, because you might as well just give them your regular name.
Yeah.
Episode 7 starts with some alien guards. Literally just like hanging outside of the dungeon of disposal. And their whole job is to make sure that no one escapes the dungeon of disposal. And then they even have like a little necklace trinket that's supposed to like light up if something's wrong. Or no, it always lights up. But this time it didn't light up. And the guards were just like, man, no one gets out of here alive. Like, even though we have this tool that tells us that someone got out, dude, it's probably just broken, and let's just fucking forget about it. And they just high five, and they're just like, yeah, let's go get drinks, boys.
What I was going to say, there are 52 chapters, and currently, from where we are in the manga, we are at chapter 25 on episode 7 of this show. It is blazing through.
From there, Momori is hanging out. I guess there's a festival going on or something, and then he's like, man, look at this Lord of the Flies mask. The mask is literally called like Lord of the Flies mask.
Yeah.
And he's just like, hey, that's me.
The way the guy explains it is he was a neutral party in the original war between the demons and the goddess, and he did his own thing and had his own rules. You picked a great mask. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin 316. I live by my own rules. He clapped 2 beers above his face, and then he fucking took the mask.
And like, that's the thing, like he's getting like more and more emo over the course of the story, because after he's like looking at the mask, he's like, I guess I'll just like embrace my inner demon.
Yeah.
I sold my soul, and like there's no going back.
Yeah.
For me.
And My Chemical Romance starts playing.
He does that more like in the episode. But after he buys his mask, apparently all the kings of the nations show up, and they're just like, hey, who killed the fucking Black Dragoons?
Just so you know, this doesn't happen. This does not happen in the manga. They just keep going. Like, there's no talk about what the demonic or the Demon King's essence does. Literally, up to this point, I had no fucking idea what it did until I watched this episode.
I still don't know what it...
Okay, what it does is it suppresses the power of the people of the world. That's why the goddess wants it, to keep the people potentially suppressed. Also, why they need the outside influence of the isekai kids. That sounds really stupid. That's because it is.
Cool. So now we know what Demon King Essence does. The other kings are convinced that the Black Dragon Knights were killed by Ceres because they found some blood, and then her ripped clothes because Momori made her change. They're like, oh, she's probably dead.
Onward to
Case
the next
closed.
thing.
You know, let's just move on.
No body. Everything's great, though.
We'll just make a bunch of assumptions.
Yeah.
And they should probably listen to our last episode of the Anime Book Club.
Yeah.
I think the moral of the story was to not assume and to actually communicate and not be crazy like these people here. And the Mad Emperor, who says that
Didn't know this guy existed.
Oh, was he not in the manga?
Nope.
Oh, basically he says they're like, okay, we're relying a lot on Alien when the Demon King comes, and it's a really strange coincidence that we always have to rely on you guys.
Hold on. Say his name, Greg.
Falcon Punch Miranda Drizzt.
Falcon Punch Miranda Lambert. Got it.
That's the Mad Emperor. And yeah, so basically they just talk about shit that doesn't matter. They talk about, I guess the Black Dragon Knights is like a huge blow to the anti-Demon King effort. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to rely on Alien. And then I don't know if the king of Alien is just brainwashed by the goddess at this point. It's like, I don't know why he's even fucking there. Yeah, he seems basically useless. So I guess he's just a figurehead and the goddess just does whatever she wants, right?
She's puppeteering everybody. Because everybody's like, God damn, there are no hot women in this world and this woman's so hot. Literally, I feel like the motivations of this entire world are based on the appeal of genitalia.
I don't think so. And the reason why I say that,
okay, Greg.
I think it's more financially influenced because Saris wants to share a room with Momori to save money. God. And it makes sense to basically get one room versus two rooms because then you cut your costs in half. So that's what people in this world are worried about is how do we be more efficient with our money?
My favorite thing in this episode thus far is when they're sitting at the bar, right? And he's talking to Eve Speed. I have the image on the screen for everybody to see. And Saris Ashrain is standing on the left side of a pillar, listening in to Eve Speed and Momori talking. And she gets like an ear shimmer, but like the people right next to her table that are like literally within 2 feet of her table are just like, yeah, that's fucking cool. What are you talking about, Jim? And Bob's just like, I don't fucking know, dude. And like, that's what's going on. Nobody gives a fuck at all. Yeah. Have you ever been to a bar and like stood next to a table of people talking? You have to be like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm waiting for this. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to this. And they'd be like, okay, you're fucking weird, man. Like, none of this world is normal. Sure.
Here, yeah, I don't get it because basically they save money, which is commendable. I do appreciate
Wow, really
that.
Smart.
And then afterwards, before this scene here, they have the interaction with the disciples of Ashnit or whatever. And then they walk in and they're just like, hey, yo, we just killed the Black Dragoons boys with our curses. Yeah. We cursed them and they died. And everyone's like, well, okay, I guess you killed them. Like, no fact checking here.
Momori says something so equally stupid. And he's like, wow, that's really good that they got them off my back. Because even if anyone else comes forward and says that they killed the Black Dragon Knights, they could just say they still cursed the Black Dragon Knights to die by anyone else's hand. And they will always be the culprits of the Black Dragon's death. And I was like, that's fucking stupid. And you know it, and I know it, and this whole room is just going to go along with that. You're an idiot, Momori.
100%. And to make him even more of an idiot, basically he overhears the Witch of Taboo's conversation with Jim and Bob. And they're just sitting there talking about it. Yeah.
They're just fucking vibing.
Yeah, and then Momori is like, Saris, you stay back. Watch this. He's like, hey, boys, you want a round of beer? And they're just like, man, I really love beer. I love alcohol and drinking. Please, like, oh, you're going to give us alcohol? Like, oh, do you want my firstborn as well? Yeah. Like, I'll take it.
Thanks for the beer and the food.
Yeah, he just basically buys them off. And they're just like, oh, yeah, Eve Speed. She's a fucking leopard lady. And she's in the Bloodsport Coliseum, and she knows all about the fucking witch taboos. And then that's kind of where we get to here, where after they say that, lo and behold, Eve Speed walks into the bar. And in my notes, when she walked in, I was like, holy shit, why do her hands look like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, dude?
Yeah.
She walked out of a live-action Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie and sat down for a beer.
Yep.
So she sits down. Momori is just like, hey, this is my chance.
Oh, I just heard about you from these guys over here. This is crazy. What a coinky-dink. can I buy you a drink?
Yeah,
And then he fucking slides the coin across the bar.
Because that's how you buy people beers. It's just like, let me buy you a beer by giving you the money and then you buy the beer.
Also, we never see a bartender. But anyways, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter.
From there, he talks to Eve Speed. He asks her about the witch of taboos and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she's more or less lying to him. And the reason why we know that is because Saris uses her bat hearing and it's like,
yeah, she gets.
And then it's like lies detected. So after they leave, Saris lets Memori know that it's like, hey, she wasn't telling the whole truth.
Right.
Let's keep following up with info.
Yeah.
So they get back to their hotel room, their single hotel room that they purchased for both of them.
Before that, you find out about the dark elf that Eve Speed is trying to save, Lisbeth, the little dark elf. But that's her motivation. Basically, she was doing this blood sport thing that they've basically gladiator this entire time for 3 years. After the first year of her doing the blood sport, she would have been able to buy her freedom. But the Duke Zuan, cut her a deal and was like, hey, if you work for 2 more years, you can get this little girl out and I'll get her a place to stay working servant work at this fucking bar. So she's like, cool, stays in. And tomorrow is her last fight. Because coincidentally, everything is coincident happening.
Yeah.
All the time to Memori. And there's nothing that, like, anything that he goes to do, he instantly finds it. It's just that. It's immediate. Anyways, continue. They go back to the whole hotel and
they get there and Memori is like, oh no, I forgot to get food for Piggy Maru.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, how could I forget? Let me just take out my leather bag of fucking Coke and beef jerky.
Yeah.
And he conjures up some cheese tarts for Piggy Maru. And Piggy Maru is just eating them up. And then Saris is just like, what are these? And Memori's like, they're fucking cheese tarts. But then she's enjoying these like otherworldly cheese tarts. And then as she's enjoying the cheese tarts, the wind blows. And then it blows the curtains, but then also blows the golden locks of Saris. As the wind blows and Saris's locks are flowing in the wind, Memori catches a glimpse out of the corner of his eye of Saris.
You're writing better than this show is writing.
And then says some shit-ass line, maybe it's more alluring because it's not from your world.
Yeah.
While looking at Saris. So basically implying that Saris as a female is more alluring to him because she's from fucking Failure Frame world as opposed to his own
Earth. Yeah, but also, like, I thought he was saying it to her, like thinking that she is more interested in him because he's from another world, but I don't know.
That could be it also. I don't know. There's so many. This is the masterpiece of Failure Frame storytelling. We don't know.
We'll never know.
As viewers, because it was so masterfully crafted. They're like, okay, let's stop fucking sweet talking each other and talk about some Tekken 8 King Eve Speed. And then from there,
yeah, that is.
Saris just decides to transform into her, like, you know, super rare energy, heavy spirit regalia.
Yeah.
And just starts swinging a sword around a fucking hotel room. And I don't know, maybe this.
They were practicing.
And I don't know, I've been in hotels before, like, you know, 1-bedroom, twin bed hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't swing a sword.
Yeah, not a lot of room for sword swing. If it's that kind of sword, you know what I mean? The other sword,
damn.
You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of room for that. Anyways.
I don't know, not according to Memori, because
he just keeps it in his pants.
Saris decides to teach him some close combat.
Yeah.
And since Memori has no aptitude for hand-to-hand combat, she wants him to assault her.
Yeah.
Her words exactly. Don't hold back and then just assault me with all of your manly testosterone, I think is what she said.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't mean it in that way, but if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. And then after they assaulted each other, Saris goes to do laundry.
Yeah, okay.
From there, you know, like pretty normal stuff, right? Like a wash bin, and you have the little rolling. Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but when I do laundry, normally each piece of clothing that I take out of the basket to get ready to throw into the washing machine, I grasp it with both hands, like wring it like a towel, and then inhale as deep as I can, like right into the heart of whatever piece of clothing.
I'll tell you what
is there.
It really makes doing laundry a long and arduous process because of the tradition of having to smell every piece of clothing of your significant other, but you have to do it every time. It's just necessary. No, fuck this. Hold on. Like, she is literally the captain of a fucking army, a literal army, right? Right. She is not a fucking barmaid. She's not a servant to the queen. She is the captain of the fucking military of a nation. A fucking nation. And then she's like, I do laundry all the time. And it's like, no, you've been on the fucking run. What are you talking about? You do laundry all the time. Are you fucking insane? Like,
you're putting her in this box that she's not allowed to, like, you know, take care of her own chores. You know what? I appreciate that Saris is helping around, doing laundry, taking care of her own messes, cleaning up after herself. You know, that just shows determination, that of a captain.
Shut up.
Of a leader.
This trad wife bullshit that Greg is on right now. Get out of here.
So then from there, Memori is just like, why the fuck are you washing my clothes? And I didn't give them to you. Did you just fucking steal them?
Did you take those? Yeah. And then she's like, oh, how long were you standing there? And he's probably like, in his head, he's like, long a fucking enough. What the fuck was that? Like, all right, I guess. I see what the interest is, but...
So after that, Saris apparently had to wash all of her clothes.
Yeah.
Because she goes to go to sleep, and she's just barely in anything. And she's there. Yeah, Memori is still awake.
And fully clothed, like in the fucking cloak and everything, because getting comfortable is stupid in this universe unless you're hot, okay? And that's the deal.
And then she is just like, oh, Memori, like, can you not sleep? Is something wrong? And he's basically just like, so much to think about.
I've got so much going on right now. You have no idea the burden that is on me at all times. I'm dark and mysterious.
And it's so heavy, but it's my burden to bear. And then she's like, well, let me help you. I have this giant collection of sleeping aids. We can just go down the list. And then she just fucking sets out her fucking vials or whatever. And it's just like, okay, this one will help you go to sleep. This one will also help you go to sleep. This one's really good at making you sleep. Oh, but this one over here, it's basically Viagra. So be careful, because if you drink it, you're just going to be fucking up for 24 hours. There's nothing
she picks up the one out of her purse or whatever it is, out of her bag. She picks up the one that's like a lot of crushed flowers. And she's like, this one, and like imbues you with vigor and excitement. And then the vial that she uses is not that one anyway, okay? The one that she uses is the one that has full leaves in it, and she accidentally pours the entire fucking thing into the soup, thinking, what, it's gonna keep you awake? Oh my fucking God, I hate this fucking...
Before that, right, so she shows him her collection, and then, you know, she's basically like, oh, we can't just fucking pop some peelies here and just get fucking blasted. We gotta mix it with food. So Memori, in his infinite wisdom, is just like, you know what? Let me just get the good old fucking leather bag of fucking treasure food summoning. And he's like, I'm just gonna make bouillon cubes. So then he just has fucking bouillon cubes. He puts them in the fucking cups, pours some hot water in, and it's just like instant soup. And she's like, oh, look at this.
It's fucking delicious, dude.
Oh, it's so alluring because it's not from my world. And then from there, she's like, okay, we'll just use a single drop per cup. And then she's just like, okay, this one's mine. And she's like, all right, Memori, this one's yours. Oh, no. And then she just dumps the whole thing in there. Memori's like, oh, damn. Like, I don't think I should have that much. And she's like, oh, let's just share. So they do the fucking wrap your arms around each other and then drink from each other's cups.
Okay.
And then, you know, they basically share this like Red Bull infused Viagra drink. And like, after that, Saris is visibly like
she gets red in the face because she is vigored up, dude.
Visibly energized, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, Mamori, like, you want to fucking?
Are you immune to temptation?
Yeah, like you want to energize this?" And he's like, "Oh no, I just have so much on my mind. The weight of the burden is so strong." And then she's like, "Oh, like." You're immune to like poison and stuff too. Are you also immune to temptation? And he's like, no, I'm not immune to temptation, but my revenge takes priority over all. And I guess you can just call it my curse. He parts his hair. And then after that, Saris is just like, oh, that must be such a hard burden to bear. Like, I'll be the one to undo your curse so you can, be unresisted.
Literally gets on one knee and hits him with the "yes, my liege."
Yeah, while she's like naked and he's fully clothed, basically. Yeah. So, completely normal ass shit that wasn't in the manga, apparently. Like, none of this happened.
No. So, like, all right, guys, to give you some context, I get that a lot of things in current media are being hypersexualized because it's easier to sell something when there are titties involved. A lot of video games, hypersexualization. We're like Stellar Blade. Like Nier Automata is like being hypersexualized now. It's like this whole idiocracy transfusion that we're doing into new idiot culture. But it's like titties sell. I literally have a mouse pad that is just giant ass titties done. It's an art style of the guy that drew Gantz. It's actually a really cool mouse pad. It's like fucking like massive, but I can't show you because I'd have to point the camera down.
Pretty good.
This is them infusing this into the show to give it some sort of anything else, because when you're reading the manga, you're like, you are literally like going from point A to point B to point C, and all problems get solved like that. It's crazy in the manga. It's continuous, and now they're trying to give some sort of like, ooh, tension. Ooh, they're gonna bone each other at some point. And I get it. Fine. The other thing is the goddess situation in the beginning. Sure, whatever. I just like this episode is total. And then they talk about like for like 2 seconds, they're like, oh, we should meet up with Eve Speed. Oh, this is what's behind me. By the way, yes, I didn't watch the outro. Normally I watch every intro and outro for shows and I kind of rate them in my mind. I watched the outro for this show because I was getting some water and I came back into the room. And it was at this part, and I looked at it, and I was like, this makes me angry because, like, that's not how fucking swords work, dude. They're supposed to be sharp. Also, why are you putting it against your face like that? And also, why are you naked? What the fuck are we doing?
I don't like the position of her nose because I think she's literally sniffing it. She's just taking both hands, wringing it like a rag, and just...
But she's also, like... She's holding a boob with one side. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd. And the whole outro is this. It's hypersexualization of Saris because she is the attractive main character. Because, like, the main character doesn't fucking matter. Like, everybody realized, like, 10 minutes into fucking reading this manga, they were like, okay, how do we fucking fix this shit? Like, we'll just make it all about Saris.
I feel like this outro, in particular... it reminds me of Fate Stay Night, and they're basically trying to make her the next Saber.
Okay.
Is what I feel like. And I feel like her as a character is basically Saber. The only difference between her and Saber is like she's an elf and she has ears. And she has that weird crown that somehow... Saber's cool.
Yeah, but Saber fights. And like this whole time, she's done nothing.
She has spirit regalia, and she was assaulted by Mamori for training. And she swings her sword in a hotel room. She's done a lot.
All I have to say is this next scene that I have pulled up. Nope. None of that happens, Greg. Episode 8 starts off. We get a little more context of Eve Speed. They're going to try and stop her from joining in on her last day as fucking Coliseum dude thing.
Basically, Mamori and Saris go to help Eve Speed and save the Dark Elf kid, and also prevent Eve Speed's death at her final match in the Coliseum, because basically they're like, they're never going to let you go. They're just going to kill you at the end and put you at a disadvantage. They're like, Eve Speed, let's just kidnap Lise or whatever, and we'll just run and be cool.
Elizabeth.
She's like, nah, ride or die.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I go Coliseum. And then, you know, she's in the Coliseum in her room that apparently she can just walk around freely.
Yeah.
And then the fucking Coliseum owner is just, you know, with his doors and windows open, completely like doesn't care about anything or have any secrecy.
He's like, is anyone outside the room right now? Yes, we should talk about this immediately.
Basically, they're like, yeah, we're just going to kill Eve Speed. We're just going to paralyze her. And then the guy is going to, you know, fucking wear her as a cape, and we're going to call him the leopard killer. And then the guy, you know, his other dude that's just standing there.
Crazy?
Like,
and he's like, nah, Shaka Demus, dude, we're going hard. And then just like fucking just tells him like, we're gonna get like crazy shit going next time. It's gonna be sick, dude.
And then after that, he's just like, yep. And then, oh, well, what about the little girl? He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna groom her. And then
I'm evil. I'm going full evil.
I'm just gonna R her just like everyone else does in this world. And like, that's what I'm gonna do. Then they're like, oh, what a genius plan. And they just high five.
Yeah.
And then Eve is like, I didn't see this coming. Like, I had no idea that the Coliseum guy was like this for the past 3 years.
I had no idea.
So then after that, Amori and Saris are walking back after talking to Eve, and then they run into the Ashnit group, and they're like, oh yeah, we...
Ashnit. Whatever it's fucking called.
Fucking, they like barricaded a house because some dude like didn't listen to the curses, so now they're gonna kill him. And then they're walking by, and then some other guys, you know, there's another girl. Oh no. And they're just like, oh, the Muaji has chosen you. And she's like, no, don't touch me. And they're like, oh, you must come with us. We're going to have fun with you, little girl, and our curses. And then Mamori's just like, dark berserk, paralyzed poison. And then just walks away. Yeah. And then the guys just like beat each other up. And then it's like, cool. All right. So after that, Eve Speed is like, okay, I trust you guys. Fucking, you said that he was going to kill me. I overheard it. They're going to kill me. Let's do your plan. Kidnap Lise. Let's get out of here. They go to the fucking tavern that Lise is at. The big dwarf lady is just being a fucking piece of shit.
Just beats the shit out of her.
One redeeming thing about this whole episode is that I feel like they did a pretty good job on portraying like physical and verbal abuse and the grooming of kids.
Yeah.
Because I think something like this actually, like, this happens, and then her like yelling into her ears to get her to stop because she doesn't like loud noises. Like, I will give the anime that I'm like, okay, this, you know, is actually something we should see and understand like how this works, and this is really bad.
But the like, only thing, why is this anime trying to do? It's like in the middle of all this crazy ass abuse and shit, like that they're portraying as like, oh, it's supposed to be evil. Then they get to like a good part where they can expand on it, and they're just like, bye, you know, gloss over it.
They do expand on it, right? So Eve Speed walks in and is like, stop messing with her, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then she's like, okay, sounds good. So then they leave, right? Mamori walks in with his Lord of the Flies mask, and then he's like, oh, your honeyed words may work on Eve Speed, but they won't work on the Lord of the Flies. And then she's just like, oh, yeah, like, I know the Coliseum guy. He's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then fucking, he's straight up just like, this poor lady.
Nah, she sucks. We've established she sucks.
I 100% agree she sucks.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think I agree with the straight up paralyze, poison, dark on the lady, and then as she's paralyzed, he literally murders her with a knife. And I'm like, well, I don't know, that's a little extreme. Mamori, like, yeah, she's a piece of shit.
He's like, I gotta make this look like a fucking robbery,
and the only way I know how to do that is by poison paralyzed.
Yeah, like the poison is going to make her bleed from everywhere, right? And like we've already established that is a thing. The more you try and move under the paralysis, like all of this shit, like all of these things that he does are so stupid.
And so I didn't agree with him like straight up murdering that lady. Like, that lady's a piece of shit. But I guess how he went about dispatching her, I'm like,
Judge Dredd giving out justice, all right?
He literally puts on his glasses like, prepare to be judged. Yeah. And then like he fucking poison dark paralyzed. Then he's like, see you in hell.
Yeah. We're going together, bitch. Like
walks like away from the explosion as it goes off. So, okay, after that, they escape the city.
Banger line. After that, Eve Speed's like, I think you're pretty trustworthy. And he's like, fuck yeah, dude. Why? What?
Well, and that's the other thing. They do the weird fucking like innuendo sexual shit again. Cause like Eve Speed is like, I trust you. You're a trustworthy man. And then she's like,
you could have done whatever you wanted to me during the paralysis in public, but you didn't. You're kind of cool.
You didn't. Yeah, you're a cool guy. And like, I pledge myself to you.
Yeah.
Like, my body and soul. And I'm like, what the fuck?
He definitely is like, yeah, that fast. All right, cool, whatever. You know, he literally says, pretty drastic turn of trust. Cool, thanks.
Anyway, the Ashnit group is coming after them, and he's just like, oh man, they move fast. Let's set a trap. So his fucking brilliant Eminence and Shadow idea is to just strap torches to the fucking horses and then just send them out into the fucking forest.
Fucking rip.
And then half of the army, I guess, is just like, oh man, look, 2 horses with fucking torches attached to them. I guess that's where they're gonna be. Yep. So then he successfully diverts 50% of the fucking army that's chasing him. But then the other 50%, I guess, are just like too smart. He has some weird like fucking Death Note rivalry shit against the fucking Muaj Ashnit leader dude that we don't even fucking really know about at all, besides the one time he was in the Coliseum and said goodnight to fucking Eve Speed.
Yeah.
But apparently he's fucking Momori's rival because he's like, oh, how did he figure out it was us with such little information? Oh, he must be fucking Death Note. So they're just writing each other's names in their fucking books, and then I guess we're gonna see who wins. And there you go. End of episode 8. Failure frame. Masterpiece.
A masterclass of how not to write a show. All in all, like, failure frame, like we said, not doing so great. Not living up.
Failing.
Well, yeah, living
failing
up to its
frame
word.
by frame.
Yeah, and still somehow the animation isn't as dog shit as Ragnar Crimson at this point. You know what I mean? Like Ragnar Crimson took a dive by episode 6.
It's pretty close. Like, I mean, it looked like they fucking struggled to draw Eve Speed.
Oh, but they at the fucking end, they literally stopped doing lip flap when Saris and Momori are riding the horse together, and they're just like doing like a voiceover, but it's like there's no echo, there's no nothing. It's just like them talking to each other, but they're riding the horse. They're just it's like 18 frames that somebody drew, and then they repeated it so that they could just get through the episode. They're cutting corners in very weird places in this show.
Well, I mean, they had to do something because they can't use their like, CG renders of just Momori and Saris because there's other characters
exist now
in the frame right now. So there you go.
Not super great. So we're gonna continue to watch it, of course. So let's get into I actually enjoy Wistoria. I like Wistoria. I know Greg has turned a corner and he does not anymore. Greg?
It's true. I did like it in the beginning. I thought it was actually pretty interesting. I thought the art style was good. Immediately, it reminded me of Harry Potter. And they continue to do so. I'm actually convinced that Wistoria is just like another multiverse where Harry Potter is now like a sword swinging action star, and Colette and Hermione now do like earth magic and shit. And then there's some weird love triangle between Harry, Colette, and then
Ron Weasley.
Yeah. So yeah, initially like I thought it was interesting, and then it really sucked because like I think episode 2 was when Snape, aka the Edward, I think his name is.
Yeah.
The snake.
A Viper Mage, the Dark Viper Mage.
Yeah. So basically Snape is just like, Ronald Weasley, Wingardium Leviosa. And then he like, fights Will. And I was like, damn, this is sick. Like he's doing all sorts of fucking crazy magic, and they're like animating it and he's doing stuff and it's cool. But yeah, I guess they only had animation budget for like episodes 1 and 2. And then basically from 3 to now.
7 was fine. Don't hate, Greg. That fight scene was cool.
Episode 7, he fucking Superman's in from episode 6.
Yeah, it's
like
sick.
It's literally just Australian breakdancing. out on the floor while Julius is there just waiting for his turn so he can show his moves.
Damn. So Will shows up and Will's like, oh, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you and make you apologize to the dwarves because you're a racist asshole. Let's go. And so begins the fight scene between Will and Julius. And okay, real quick, everybody knows that the Grand Magic Festival is going on. Elfie is in the tower getting notes about Julius saying, oh, he could be the successor to the Ice faction potentially. And I sent this to Greg earlier today. They say he might very well become your successor, Lady Elfaria. And I said, first of all, no, he fucking won't, because you literally created 12 spells. And by the rules of your stupid land, you are younger and better than he is. So shut the fuck up, maid lady. Like, you fucking asshole. How dare you even speak that shit into existence, first of all. Second of all, like, she is the current Magia Vander, and he is a fucking student. If he was that good, they would already be training him in the tower. But they're not, and he's nowhere close. But they've got an eye on him. Okay, cool. Fucking, like, scouts that scout stuff for the NFL, they have eyes on hundreds of kids, and there is usually one or two that are good enough to, like, hey, we're going to start training you to do this specific thing. Let's start you out at 12 years old. Like, that's kind of the effort of, like, these NFL coaches, scouts and coaches and shit. Okay? Like, this shit is not different. She's 15 or she's 16. Sorry. Elfaria is 16. Will is 15. It's literally, there's a night and day difference. He's 17 a year later and is not even close. Anyways, so they move forward and they show that exact thing that I just said. Will dismantles all of his magic because he is using mimicry of what her magic is. Will fights through the clones, fights through the meteor, fights through the cage, fights through more clones, basically makes a fucking fool of Julius in front of the entire school. And you kind of wonder for a second whether or not Will's actually going to get some recognition this time, because he's done this before. Last year at the Grand Magic Festival, he did this. You get to the point where Julius is, you know, all sassy pants mad at everybody. He wants to kill Will, gets fucking railed, and Workner is just like, yeah, whatever, this shit's happening, but we all know Elfaria is better. I think this animation's actually pretty sick for this fight. Greg, look at this picture. Tell me that's not cool.
That's the difference, because you're actually, if we look at that one moment in time, I agree. But my note here is animation is still bad.
I have a counter note to my own point. It's that picture.
Making Will look epic on a budget. Theme song playing as he's cutting up ice in 10 frames per second.
Stop lying. Stop lying. Yo, hold on. When Bleach started their fucking theme song of, like, every time Ichigo goes crazy, you knew that some dope shit was about to happen. You start hearing that fucking song in the background, and you're like, ooh, let's go. This is very similar.
It's fucking cringe. Like, when you use the theme song as, like, you know, like, oh, something crazy is gonna happen.
Dude, look at this animation, by the way. This is, I countered my own point. Look at Will in the background, though. It's bad. But here's the problem that I have. He used the fucking front of that sword. Those kids are dead. Those kids died right there. No,
he used the back?
No, he did not. They show it. It's the fucking front. That is a curvature at the top of the blade. I went back and looked several times. It is a curvature at the top of the blade. It is right there at the top, right where, above where my head would be. That is the fucking, it is, Greg.
But then, okay, the strike animation is on the back side of it, but the way he's swinging it, you would think he swung it with the blade. I 100% agree. The animation sucks, right? Fucking Wistoria animation, trash, 100%. It's bad.
No, it's not. It's not that bad. Hold on, let it play out a little bit. They get fucking wrecked.
Like, the fight was fine, I guess. Will realize that Julius could only use the technique with the help of his teammates because it took so much mana or whatever, or he couldn't control it. He basically calls him out. He just Final Fantasy VII, like, summon Bahamut, fucking meteor his ass, but then he, like, cuts the meteor in half. And then he's like, I know all of Elfie's magic because I've been hanging out with Elfie since we were kids.
Yep.
And then Julius is just like, oh, no, that can't be. You two would never hang out. And then he's like, yeah, your clone ability you're using, she made that when she was 2. And then Julius is like, I am at the skill of a toddler.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then he's like, I guess I'm shit.
And then he fucking loses it.
Yeah, and then Will just basically punches him.
Yeah, but that punch was rad. There's a couple animations that I thought were really cool during the fight scene where Will's kind of going crazy and like running through stuff, doing flips and cutting shit up, jumping off the fucking thing, kicks fucking the Julius clone, kicks its head off. Awesome. I thought it was great. I had a good time. This fight scene's not bad as it plays out. Like, it's cool.
Not good.
No, it's good. It is good.
No, it's not. Like, it's acceptable. It's passing. It gets a satisfactory score. It's not like A+, S+.
It's not fucking Jujutsu Kaisen right now. And we can't continuously put every fight scene on that bar because people like ruined their lives to show the fucking Sukuna Maharaga fight. Like, that shit is crazy.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know, it's average. Average is fine,
but I think the average is a good thing. Average is good. In my scale, I would put this at like a 6 or a 7. Like in a fight.
Oh, damn.
The average is 5, right?
I would put it at a 5. Average is 5?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. 100%.
I think it's good. I will read it once I'm done with JJK, which I'm almost done with. So, anyways, the episode goes on, ends up Linwell, what is his name?
Wignall.
Yes, Wignall, the wind mage,
green hair elf,
ends up grabbing the crown. Ha ha ha. It was all for nothing. You guys forgot the point of the fight in the center. But no, really, we didn't, because Julius then in the next episode at the beginning has to apologize to the dwarves, and by doing hard labor with the dwarves. So he's doing washing dishes and working as a server in the bar now to show that motherfucker some humility.
In no world, okay, if I walked into a dwarf bar,
yeah,
and I'm like, hey, yo, look at all you shorties up in here, no magic, using bombs, and then I lose the fight, the last thing I would do is go fucking do dishes. I probably, if I was Julius and putting myself in his shoes where he's a piece of shit, why would he even agree to go do dishes? He could just fucking go somewhere else. And then like that would have been it.
Probably the situation is Will is like, I have demonstrably ruined your ego for a while. You're going to go apologize to these people, you racist asshole. And then the teachers are probably like, yeah, you should probably fucking apologize because it's pretty fucked up. Like, and then he goes, he's still mad about it.
They like threaten to take away his credits or something like that.
Yeah.
I accept that.
So that's why I imagine it happens. Then Will starts to get recognition for all of the things that he's accomplished. And people are starting to notice that Will's actually pretty fucking rad at, and the kids are like, hey man, will you join us? Can you help us out? Like, we want somebody who's strong that's going to go in the Proxys, which is when all the kids apparently go in the dungeon and accumulate credits. So Colette is like, everybody shut the fuck up. You were all assholes to Will. He's going to hang out with me tomorrow. We're going shopping, you stupid bitch. And then, not that Colette's the stupid bitch. I'm talking about the other kids. Anyways, she's talking to the green-haired girl. That's right. She's the dumb bitch. That's right. I got it. Anyways, so Colette cons Will into going on a date. And then we get the bitch fight between Rosti and fucking Colette at the end of this date. And it's fucking great. I just love them being sassy to each other. It's wonderful. I'm a big fan.
Colette invited Will on the date.
Yeah.
And then Will invited Rosti to join them. No,
Rosti invited himself. Will's like, he said he has to come.
So they're in this weird love triangle thing.
Yeah. It's like a love quadrahedron because Alfie, Rose, probably Colette, Rosti, green-haired girl was trying to hold his hand, and that's just unacceptable.
Dude, look at this animation, dude.
Dude, it fucking kills me. Yeah, at least it's not hypersexualized like fucking stupid failure frame.
Just let him cook. Okay. They'll get there.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You say hypersexualized, and then Will is talking to Colette about Rosti and just telling her about his massive hog, dude.
Oh, whopping dog.
He's just talking to Colette about like, oh yeah, Rosti's definitely a boy, dude. He's fucking huge.
Bigger than yours? Bigger than your what are you talking about? Greg went back, and Greg obviously speaks Japanese to a certain extent. He says he's bad at it, but he's not. Anyways, so he's like, I have to listen to it to make sure they said that. And he's like, they fucking said that shit. So.
Well, it's not like exactly. Like, it's implied that that's what he was talking about.
Right.
So, like, they didn't straight up say, like, Rosti has a giant dog, or, like, it's going to, he's going to go to an onsen, you're going to trip and crack your head open on it.
Yeah.
They basically, implied it, and then Will said, it's better than mine, basically.
Yeah.
That's why Colette was like, better than your what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So they kind of more or less make that joke. Rosti shows up with literal butterbeers. So he shows up with 2 butterbeers, one for Will, one for Colette. And then Colette's like, Rosti, where's your butterbeer? And Rosti's like, hey, yo, I'm just going to suckle out of Will's butterbeer, bitch. And then she's like, okay, that's it. And then Colette's like, you got to get your sword maintained, Will. He's like, I do? And Rosti's like, yeah, bitch, get out of here.
Yeah. You go fucking maintain your sword over there, you fucking weirdo. Go hang out with the dwarves. The dwarves don't like us. Get out of here. And he's like, oh, okay, bye, guys.
So then Rosti and Colette just have this dick measuring contest, and we all know who's in because Rosti's got the hog. So as they're arguing about like who's seen Will naked more,
yeah,
Liana comes and intercepts Will. Yep. And she's like, do you have a second? And Will, the nice guy, is just like, yeah, you know what? I think I do. I have a moment for you. And she's like, follow me. He follows her. They make it into some fucking castle or tower or some shit.
I thought they were in an alley.
Oh, no, they were in an alley, but then Liana takes him to a castle or something.
The room with all the kids,
So then she enters the room with Will, and inside of the room, you have Wignall, Julius, and Shion.
And Liana now.
And Liana. So they all want to form a party for this Praxis dungeon delving that they're going to have to do, which is nuts. And I guess they kind of explained it a little bit. Like, Shion's like, why would I party with Will? Julius is back to his old, self of being a jerk,
it
even though
half a day to become a piece of shit again.
And then basically Liana is saying this party has the best chance of reaching like the next level of the tower or whatever. So let's all just kind of like put our differences aside, and we all want the same thing, right? We all want to become Magia Vanders. So then they do like this, everyone has a coin, and then they're just like, here's looking at you, kid. And then they flip it. Everyone's got to flip their coin into the cup, basically as like an agreement that, yes, we're going to all party together. And then Will was like, okay, cool, here you go. And then everyone just flips their coin. So even though Julius and Shion are like, I hate Will, he's the worst. And Will's like, I don't know, it's like, maybe I shouldn't do this. They just literally all just slam dunked their coins into the cup. There was like no thinking. It was just like an immediate reaction. They all just fucking slam them. So then, he leaves. Rosti and Colette finally finish their dick measuring contest. And they're like, Will, where did you go? It's like literally like 11 p.m. You've been gone for like 8 hours. And we've been arguing the whole time. Yeah. And he's like, I've joined a party. So then, he joins. And then fast forward to the start of the dungeon praxis thing, I guess. The dungeon has 7 levels, 7 being the easiest, 1 being the hardest, according to the diagram that the teacher showed. Normally, I think 6 and 7 are open. And then 5 and below are locked because I guess they're like too dangerous or some shit.
So I assumed when they said that he had been to the 6th floor that they meant the 6th fucking floor. But now that I understand it's the 2nd floor, suck my nuts. Like, it's the 2nd floor. Why did we have to reverse the numbers? Like, there's no point.
They get to the 7th floor. They basically have a base camp. Like, they're going to fucking, scale Everest or whatever. So everyone's like getting there prepared. And the second I saw that scene, I was like, dude, this reminds me of, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Because in the same thing, right? They have the dungeon in the middle of the town. Dungeon goers go and they go down there to get loot and shit. And I can't remember what floor it is. I think it's either floor 7 or 14. I can't remember. But in their dungeon, they basically have base camps also after X amount of levels.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, dude, this looks exactly like the base camp from that anime. So just a fun fact.
All right. I like it.
So this is Harry Potter and Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls all in one.
Yeah. And then we get to the end of the episode where we get to some head popping. This is the first time we've seen someone die.
Yeah, because I thought in the first episode when Will saved Shion the first time, and Shion had like his 2 lackeys or whatever, and then that giant Minotaur thing literally just punched one like across the room.
Yeah, I thought that kid was dead as fuck.
That kid's dead as fuck, but then like afterward, he's just like, oh man, that was
a crazy bruise I had. Yuck, yuck.
This is the first time that they've actually shown
and
someone die.
A lot of blood.
I assume it's shock factor too. I wasn't shocked at all. I thought it was stupid.
Oh well, I liked it. Like it's filling your criteria, Greg. Somebody has to die. There has to be boobs.
I know, but then I've always said too that it isn't like a hard and fast list that is required. Something can have all of those things and still be shit.
Yeah, but I like it. I like Wistoria. I think Wistoria is going in a good direction. I like the speed of it. It's like a contrast to Jobless, where nothing happens for quite a while. And it's just like kind of like it's like Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, or like Cowboy Bebop, where just like not a lot happens, but then in specific episodes a lot happens. That's what Jobless is to me. And I think that this is more of a true like shonen anime. Like there's a lot of, hey, we know all of you have ADHD, let's just keep going. Failure Frame is like that as well, but in such a bad way that it makes me angry. I think Wistoria is good. I think I like Wistoria. I like where it's at. I like the introduction of new angry guy. He is a fucking edgelord. You know me. I fucking love a good edgelord.
Is he made out of dust or like, so he's liquefying that dude? Is that
I think
what's happening?
so. I think he's turning him to dust. And then because the other guy, he popped his head, right? And then
yeah.
But like by the coats, by the outfits of these guys, they're obviously from not nearby. So I think that's also important.
That's the thing. Obviously it's a black coat, right? He's got some sort of scales on his shoulders. He has a wand,
that's
so he's
armor,
mage.
Why Elfie has so many Will dolls? I'll never know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, why would she have a Will doll when she can have a Rosti doll with the hog, dude?
Anyways, thank you, Greg.
It looks like he takes his head and wears it. So like he's like dust.
So this guy's made of dust. Or the black magic or whatever it is, the forbidden magic. The other guy is with him, apparently, to a certain extent. And they pop a third dude's head.
The dust guy is actually one of the bad guys.
Yes.
He's not a guy getting turned into dust.
Yes.
So that's a bad guy. The dust guy.
Yes. Episode 9 and 10 are going to be great. And I'm really excited about it.
I don't know if they're going to be great, but they're going to be there. And they're going to exist.
And we're going to
watch them.
And we're going to watch them. Greg, how are you enjoying 2.5 Dimensional Seduction? And real quick, within 5 minutes, explain to us why you love it.
I like it.
Love it. I said love it.
It did kind of have a little bit of a case of the Ragnar Crimsons.
Ooh.
I will say. And I feel like all these summer 2024 animes too are like they're all doing that. And the thing is with 2.5, like it doesn't detract too much. Like to me, it's still noticeable, but it doesn't detract from the story because it's not necessarily like an action anime. So it's not like Wistoria or Failure Frame where, they're trying to visually show like a flashy sword fight, but instead of swinging swords. It's just like their faces, and then you'll show a picture of a sword with some sparks coming off it or something. So it's not that bad that it has the case of the Ragnar Crimsons, but I did want to bring it up because I feel like that's a trend that's happening lately in anime. So I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's budget or what. But yeah, the quick and dirty of 2.5 and why I love it, quote unquote, love it, and why I think it can be the best anime of summer 2024 is because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it also has ridiculous character development. And it also goes through life themes that anyone watching anime or anyone that's a nerd or anyone that, you know, is super passionate about something, but feels like that it's not publicly accepted, gives them like an outlet and gives them confidence and, you know, basically supports them in the things that they like.
Okay.
Long and short of 2.5 is cosplay. The girl in the story likes cosplay, but she likes cosplaying more suggestive characters. And she's just worried because people don't really accept that kind of cosplay. But as she goes through and does cosplay conventions and finds other people that like the same thing that she does, you know, she gets more and more confident to be able to do the thing she's passionate about without being scared of public scorn of what is perceived as something that you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
So I think it has really good messages. I think it has a nice, funny romance story. It is a rom-com, so if you're looking for like action or you're looking for a high-paced thriller, you're not going to find it here. But if you're looking for a romantic comedy that is silly, but also is serious when it needs to be, it hits all those good romantic comedy elements, and you are okay with a little bit of ridiculous fan service, then 2.5 is for you.
2.5B. Anyways, more shonen ridiculous fight scenes, please. Thank you.
I like it. And it's more of, I guess this goes back to like almost the very first episode of the podcast, because it's literally the character development and the story development that keeps me engaged. It doesn't matter, like, to me, like what genre the anime is. It's basically like, do you have those foundational story building elements that me as a viewer basically sail my little ship up to, tie off and anchor down, and have a good time on your little island of whatever show that you're making is.
This is a weird One Piece reference.
That's basically all I need is that. Give me good solid foundations, and then whatever you build on top of that almost doesn't even matter. Like, it can be fucking a sci-fi fucking space drama. It can be some, you know, ridiculous My Dear Friend Nokotan like variety episode. It could be some harem anime of whatever, Date Alive. It doesn't matter. It's just, as long as those foundations are there, you can build whatever you want on top of it, and I'll more than likely rate it super high. But yeah, I mean, that's why I think it's going to be the best summer anime of 2024. Okay. Now, do other people agree with me?
No.
But then I have
someone
watched
out there has to.
Summer 2024 anime, and I don't know, there actually isn't like too much good stuff out there for summer, in my opinion.
I like that anime is getting a little more condensed.
I agree.
No 24 episode bullshit. A lot of stuff can happen in 12 episodes because it's literally 6 hours. Well, sorry, it's about 4 hours total. 2.5
is actually a 25 episode series.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Everything is going to be ending in the next month. Yeah, it's going to be
another 3 months after that.
And then same with ReZero. They're the 24, 25 episode seasons. I don't necessarily mind. I think 24 is like the limit. And I personally don't mind, like, you know, the new age season 1 part 1, season 1 part 2
I don't
style.
like that.
I don't necessarily like mind it, I guess, but at the same time, like, I wish you'd just call it what it was, which is season 1 and season 2. Here in Michigan, in Detroit specifically, there is an anime convention that happens every year called Youmacon. I will be attending Youmacon this year, as I did last year. Hang out there and hopefully spread some anime book club love over in Youmacon.
That'll be awesome. Will you get me a figurine or two?
Last year, I wasn't really into figurines too much, but I've basically had a year now to kind of up my figurine game.
I found my God, what is his fucking name from Demon Slayer? The main villain.
Mugatu.
No, that's fucking Zoolander, dude. What the fuck? you mother. You almost had me for a second.
Muzan.
Yeah, Muzan. I found my Muzan figurine finally.
It was pretty close. Mugatu's actually not too bad.
Super close, dude. Muzan, Mugatu, same fucking thing. Both characters played by our shining hero of American culture, Will Ferrell. So anyways,
moral of the story.
Oh yeah, the moral of the story. Most importantly in the world, find what you enjoy and let it destroy you. But don't forget about the other things along the way. Like, obviously boobs, because that's what anime is all about now.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so like you got what's his fuck letting revenge destroy him. It's his favorite thing in the world. He's like, I'm gonna get that goddess. And then he's like, boobs out of my face. Get him away from me.
Those are gross.
You can occasionally indulge in a boob here and there. Okay, let it be.
Not when you're overwhelmed by revenge.
Yeah. Also, if you are in the Wistoria world, you can be overwhelmed with trying to be next to your favorite person in the world. But every now and then, you get to touch a dick. So find what you love and let it ruin your whole life. And then also touch some other genitals in the meantime. Have fun.
How can you say you don't want to go to an onsen with all of the boys, and then you talk about touching dick?
Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
Good moral.
Yeah, it's a great moral of the story.
If you love Deadlock, play 15 hours a day.
Yeah. Do that too.
Don't forget to eat.
Nah.
And sleep. And drink water. Stay hydrated out there.
We appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you in a little bit with more Anime Book Club shenaniganry. Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!